Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone, and of course we're going to be talking about the Jamaica Premier League. The quarterfinals of the JPL ended today with two second-leg matchups. In the first encounter, Tivoli Gardens dispatched Vare United 4-0 to march into the semi-finals. We have those highlights.
So we're underway here at the UEJFF Captain Horace Burrell Centre of Excellence. 0-0 the first leg between these two teams. Thompson again gets the return ball, has a little space to work with, feeds it back out right. Still a chance at the back post. He puts it away.
Clean sheet so far this season, but we spoke about the potency of Tivoli Gardens and how the first leg was so unusual.
Now here's a chance for Tivoli Gardens. What can they do with this? It's a big chance to go to up! Trayvon Reed! Always deadly in front of goal!
Just held his composure, kept his eye on the ball, held off two defenders, and a beautiful finish past substitute goalkeeper Shavon Wilson.
There's delivery inside and it's put away!
Wasn't as easy as it looked because the ball was a little high. Had to cushion it well, Morgan, as you could see with the left boot. Inside of the foot, and the power getting by Wilson. Wasn't far away from Wilson, but the power of the shot had him beaten.
Needs a good ball across. He's looking for the penalty and they've gotten it. Brought down inside the area. Here's Teddy Johnson. To really put this one beyond doubt, or just to say the icing on the cake. Here's Johnson, makes it 4. Easy does it for Jermaine Teddy Johnson and the Tivoli Gardens.
It was a lot closer than the scoreline shows, but Tivoli have certainly run away with it.
Yes, they have. Indeed, they have. 4-0 the final score.
Meanwhile, Mount Pleasant Academy took a 3-1 lead into their second leg quarterfinal clash with Harbourview. The second leg ended 1-1, meaning Mount Pleasant advanced 4-2 on aggregate. So Tivoli will play Cavalier, while Mount Pleasant will take on Waterhouse in the semi-finals. A reminder, first leg action is live on your Home of Champions on Saturday. So maybe it's fitting that I start with George to talk about Vare and what really happened to them today. Because before you went on your extended vacation, you had a lot of time for them.
You keep saying extended. I don't know why you keep saying extended.
It felt really long.
It felt really long.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the football then. I'm happy Chris Taylor at the very end said that the scoreline didn't tell the real story about the game, because you don't expect a Donovan Lucky team to be beaten 4-0 in any game, least of all their most important game of the season. What appears to have happened, as we were discussing in the zone room today, when they fell behind in the game, and given the desperate nature of the situation, they threw all caution to the wind and were hunting the equalizer and left themselves vulnerable. Because as you could see, the Trayvon Reed goal, that was one where the Vare defenders and midfielders were caught up the field and it was a break, although they had men covering but not in the positions they wanted to be in. And the penalty was a rather poor challenge. So it just went wrong on the day, and these things can happen. But Mariah, yes, you don't expect a Donovan Lucky team to be beaten 4-0 in any game. Worst of all, that's what I should have said. Worst of all, a game with a semi-final on the other end, a crucial quarterfinal matchup.
Yeah, Lance, what did you make of Tivoli's win today?
Yeah, very, very impressive. It's the second time for the month that they've scored 4 goals in a victory. They beat Humberland 4-3 in early September, and this is a very handsome result. I did think in Saturday's first leg that Vare were stretched in holding them to a 0-0 draw. And there was always the likelihood that Tivoli would have had the advantage in the second leg. But George is right. For Vare to give up 4 goals in a match is not like Donovan Ducky's team. And the team probably just fell apart under the constant pressure, and themselves probably trying to commit too many players up front to try to get themselves back into the game. So tough for them. Typically, Vare under Donovan Ducky's coaching do not give up more than 1 goal per game. In fact, There was only one game this season they gave up 2 goals, and that was a game that they actually won by 3 goals to 2. So they ended up winning the game. But Veer has had a good run, to be fair. They were coming from bottom of the table last season in the aborted season to being, you know, a playoff contender this year, and a team that halfway through the season people started to think, you know what, maybe this Veer team could do a lot better than we thought they could. But I think Tivoli was the better team today. They looked the better team in the first leg as well, and they have now marched into the semi-final playoffs, Tivoli.
All right, let's talk a bit now about Harbourview Mount Pleasant and their second leg clash.
Yeah, you know, I said to Lance that, well, let's take some highlights first. Oh yeah.
Harbourview, they started off really strongly. They were pressing. It was Tape who got through on goal, and that was a fine finish from the player who plays right back.
Right, so Harbourview, and you know, I was saying to Lance, what had happened to Okasa Chung, the hitman for Harbourview, who was the hottest player in the league after the first half a dozen or so rounds, a man who was unplayable, who frightened even vastly experienced defenders who were long in the tooth and very experienced in the Premier League. He was in his first season and he was having such an impact on them. But the reports are that he has cooled off. Maybe defenses have gotten wise to him and they've put plans in place to shackle him. Harbourview needed a goal from a good friend of mine, Lavelle Palmer, to get through to this stage. And perhaps they just ran out of juice as the campaign ran old. I'm very happy for Mount Pleasant, I must tell you. Good to see that the project is on track. A team like that, which invests as much as they do in the football, deserve some reward. You know, I'm the first man to say deserve has nothing to do with football results, but I'm bucking that trend by saying Mount Pleasant deserves something. I'm happy that they've gone forward, not necessarily at Harbourview's expense. I really would have loved to have seen Harbourview the last 4, but only 4 can go.
Definitely, and of course, Mount Pleasant Lance will be facing Waterhouse in the semi-finals.
Tough semi-final battle there for Mount Pleasant. Waterhouse in the past 3 or 4 weeks has looked the best team in the Premier League, so that semi-final is going to be a real humdinger. I like the look of Mount Pleasant though. They appear to be peaking at the right time, and they have the youngster Devonte Campbell, only 17 years old, scoring in the first leg of the playoff on Saturday. A real talent, good speed and a lot of confidence as well, and their roster is very deep, the Mount Pleasant roster. Waterhouse though is a very, very solid team. That's a semi-final match that will be, it's hard to predict that one, but I think Mount Pleasant are fresh, they are improving, they're confident, and I think they are going to be very, very hard to beat.
All right, and speaking about semi-finals, George, you can predict the Tivoli Cavalier one.
Wow, I really love Cavalier. I really, really think that they are onto something special this season. I'd love for Teddy Johnson's sake for Tivoli to go beyond this stage, but I'm going to go with the youngsters. Teddy has many medals in his cabinet. I'm going to go for Rudolph Speed and Cavalier to go through to the championship game.
All right, and just a gentle reminder, if you haven't downloaded the SportsMax app yet, now is a good time to do so, because you can catch all the semi-final action in the Jamaica Premier League. You heard from George and Lance. It's very exciting. You won't want to miss a moment. Back after the break.